X-rays.
Yeah. How did everything come out?
Pretty good.
All right.
Can't complain.
What's the plan this week? What do you want to show?
Man, just show how versatile I am. I know how I am in the interviews, but I just want to show it on the field so I can move around, so I can bend and things like that.
Hey Zion, have you met with the Cowboys?
Yeah, I met with them the first night with an informal visit, but outside of that, no, I really haven't sat down with the whole coaching staff.
What was that conversation like? What do you like with the Cowboys?
I like just the way they approached it, the way they were talking about football. They like how I could decipher things about from defense, talk about the second level, third level, things like that. So it was a good interview, I feel like.
Who do you have on your chain?
That's my great grandmother. She's the reason I wear my number. She was born September 6th, so it's the reason I wear the number 96 at the University of Georgia. And she meant so much to me, and she was a great, huge pivotal point in my life growing up. So it's the reason why I wear her around.
You talk about her being a pivotal point. What does that look like, I guess, off the field? And did she play any role in getting you into football, cheering you on when you were little, things like that?
So my mom was, I was a single parent household. My mom, she worked 2 jobs a lot of the time, still works 2 jobs to this day. So my grandmother was a huge part of raising me and my sister. She taught me how to cook, clean, care for others, things like that. So when it came down to time to pick my number, it was a no-brainer. Things like
when you talk about your mom still working 2 jobs, obviously a lot of people want to get to the league to take care of their family. How much of an influence is that for you as you look at this next chapter of your life?
It's a huge thing. I told my mom at the age of 11, I was like, I'm gonna get to the league one day so you don't have to work again. And she always tells me, don't do it for me, do it for yourself. But I still want to make sure my mom's okay, make sure she's well taken care of.
So I talk about your family a lot. Like, is anyone up here with you that's supporting you throughout this entire process? It's good to have teammates up here as well.
Yeah, Bull, K3, Tyke, they all just got here yesterday. But my mom I think she's coming up here probably in a couple hours. So she'll be in the stadium tomorrow when I'm running. She's my prayer warrior, so I told her I need her there in the stadium just to feel her presence.
Zion, what can you bring to an NFL team?
Just my dependability and my ability to play different positions. That's the number one thing I learned at the University of Georgia, being able to be adaptable and play with other great players and be able to bring something to a team that a lot of people usually can't.
I was talking to Nick Sirianni, yesterday, the Eagles coach. He's got all the dogs on his thing. I said, what's the one DNA trait that all your players have? He says, toughness.
For sure.
Is that just a part of the culture? And what does that Kirby do to instill that?
From the day you walk in, it's not even talked about. But from the day you walk in the locker room, we're gonna see if you can be in that foxhole with us. We're gonna see if you can go out in front of 102,000, 93,000 on 39. If you can stand up and be a man and stand on your own 10.
So since you left Georgia, what have you tried to improve on as you head into this process of the come out?
Just steady being a pro, steady taking everything day by day, not letting anything go by, and just working on my body, working on my mental.
If you had to show scouts one game from your Georgia career to showcase, like I said, your versatility, your toughness, what game would that be?
I would say Tennessee not this past year, but the season before that when they came to Athens. I feel like that was one of my better games of my career, just from the striking standpoint, resetting the line of scrimmage, having energy, having fun with my guys. Man, I feel like that was probably one of my better games of my career.
So what's the woman's name? What is her actual name?
Sadie Bill Alexander.
So what are some of the toughest offensive lines that you faced in the SEC and some of the toughest offensive linemen that you had to go against?
The toughest offensive line I feel like is my own, the University of Georgia from 2019 to 2023. But the toughest I went against probably last year's Alabama and 2022 LSU.
Are there any of those guys, you've gone against any of these guys who are here right now? Talk about some of their character a little bit.
A lot of scouts have asked me who was the toughest offensive lineman I went against. I said J.C. Latham, just because he's a true 360 at offensive tackle. He can move you in the run game, but also he can sit down in the bull in the pass. So it's a lot of things that J.C. does well, as well as being that big, he can move. So it's a great challenge going up against that guy.
Do you think playing in the SEC gives you an advantage as you get to the next level, playing against the caliber of players you play with?
100%, because it's never a down week in the SEC, just like it's never a down week in the NFL. You can go out on any given Sunday, Monday, or Thursday and get your butt kicked.
So you got a big group of Georgia guys coming, like you said. The other guys are just getting in town now. Are they all hitting you up saying, "Hey, like, what's it like? What's the schedule like?"
Yeah, a lot of the guys, they just want to know like what they're walking into, what are they getting ready for, and I'm letting them know that, like, you're gonna be tired, but just keep your energy up, keep your head high, and don't let them see you waver.
You guys start early. I mean, what are these days like?
It's kind of like a fall camp day. You know, you get up at probably like 6:30. You're going from at least 7 until probably like 4. You get a little bit of break. Some guys got formal visits. I haven't had any formal. I've had informal clusters. So my first day we finished around 11 o'clock. I got back. I had to go do a little pool workout with the guys from Exos. So I got back to my room probably like 12:15. Had to wake back up the next morning like 6:30. So it's really demanding, but this is what we dream for our whole lives. This is things we've watched as a kid on TV, and you can't ask for anything better.
Will you do all the drills?
I'll do everything but the bench press.
Everything but the bench. Is there any particular drill you think you might stand out in? Any numbers we might want to look for?
I hope to run anything under 4.9 in the 40. That's my goal. You know, every big man wants to be able to say he ran a 4 something. You know, but 5 flat isn't bad. But I hope to get that 4.
How much did Jordan Davis's performance, you think, inspire the guys at Georgia? I mean, that seemed like the world stopped that day. He ran that number.
At 340 pounds running a 4.7, who isn't going to watch that, you know? But, we always seen that in JD. JD was he was a little lazy at Georgia, and he'll tell you that himself. But I think when he makes his mind up and when he wants to go, nobody can stop that man. So, and you seen it that day he was out here.
What about the future there at D-tackle, with I guess Warren and Nazir coming back? Any of those other young guys that you think we'll see here one day at the Combine, or anybody maybe jump out next year? Emerge.
A lot of those guys, Warren, Nas, not the D tackle, Mike Hill. He's gonna have a huge season coming up this year, man. That our room is so loaded. Like a lot of people we don't get the recognition that we deserve because a lot of time our defense is just so good. But it's gonna be a scary sight this season.
A lot of people talk.
Sorry if we've already been asked this, but how do you feel like you evolved at Georgia?
Just as a man, just as a professional, like from that standpoint, I know how to take criticism. I know how to go about my day, like as a professional, and just Georgia got me ready for life as a man. Period.
And what makes Kirby Smart so different as a defensive coach?
He's just so demanding. He wants perfection from the way you eat your cereal to the way you tie your shoes. So it's like I tell everybody, we prepare more than anybody in the country. We're walking through before the game, before meetings, after meetings, before practice. We have walkthroughs. We're getting coaching points after each series. So if you mess up, you just don't get it.
Has he told you how to eat your cereal?
he probably has told somebody how to eat their cereal for sure.
So we were talking with some Florida State guys earlier that opted out, and one guy said he didn't go there to play in meaningless games, and another guy said the game didn't really matter. Can you talk about how different the Georgia mentality was for that game and what that says about the Bulldogs?
Yeah, so I was actually at the Shrine Bowl with a couple Seminoles, and we were talking about it. They were just saying, SEC ain't this, SEC ain't that. I'm like, y'all beat one SEC team. LSU, no knock to them. But I was like, if y'all really, I know y'all should have been in the conversation, the top 4. Y'all 14-0, 13-0, whatever the case might have been. But we still came to play at the end of the day. We know we should have been in the CFP as well, but we had something to finish, and those guys just didn't feel like it was in their best interest, which I completely understand. If I'd have went 13-0 too, I probably wouldn't wanted to be in the CFP. But God has a mysterious way of working things out, and they just didn't feel like it was in their best interest.
Who are you there with?
Fabian Lovett, Ronaldo Green. Kalen DeLoach, the DB number 7. I can't remember his name right now. I'm kind of blanking, but a lot of those guys.
Is that Bethune?
Not so. Tatum Bethune. He was supposed to go to the Reese's Bowl. I don't think he went.
Did they try to tell you the game would have been different if they played? What was your response to that?
It wouldn't have been different. It would have been 38-17. I feel like, but it wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been as close as they were saying.
Did you watch the playoff?
I did.
Did you feel like, did you wonder what would happen if you were in it?
100%. Who wouldn't? Yeah. I was looking at it. I was watching both defenses, both offenses. I'm like, I actually watched this CF, the national championship with Kamari and Bull. We were just like, man, we were dissecting everything because when we watch football now, we watch it so different. Coming from Georgia, like we're looking at all the situations that people are in. They got 3 timeouts at the end of the game. If they don't got at least 2 games over with, things like that. So we were just looking at everything like that.
Zion, you got to play with James Colgata. What has it been like to see him flourish and really come on strong this last season?
Man, I was so happy for Cook, man. You know, at Georgia, he never had the big career like a running back would want, but he just kept his head down, kept his nose clean, and I'm so proud of Cook.
Why would you like to play on a team like the Buffalo Bills, play with guys like Ed Oliver and Von?
Because you know you're gonna get their best every day, and you know I know what I have inside of me, and I know what I can bring to that defense as well. And playing for a great franchise like the Bills, you know they're competing for a big championship every year, no matter what the circumstances is, and you just know you're gonna get their best, and you're gonna give your best to them.
Playing at an SEC school, why do you feel like you're more NFL ready than some others?
Just like I said earlier, it's no down week in the SEC, just like it's no down week in the NFL. Any given Sunday, Saturday, Thursday, Monday, you can go out there and get your butt beat. So you got to be ready at all times.
Zion, you didn't really answer. You kind of intimated watching the game what you thought, but watching the championship game, were you guys thinking if you were in the playoff that you would have won it again?
I definitely feel like we would have won it, but that's just you're not going to say you're going to make it all the way to the national championship and lose, but I feel like we would have did some things different.
Well, tell me, haven't seen Michigan. You played them before. How would that game have played out from what you saw out of them?
Honestly, I feel like our defense would have we would have stacked up. I'm trying to word this so I don't get clicked. Pac-12 football going against Big Ten caliber, but SEC caliber offensive line. They don't really have the beef in the middle to stop that run. I can say, but they did what they have. They did what they could with what they had. So I feel like that was the changing point.
Flip side, your offense with Carson and maybe a healthier Brock or Ladd, or maybe even just the version of Ladd we saw against Florida State.
You got to have two eyes on Brock. So everybody else is man to man. Can't really guard everybody. I feel like, but you know, people got their opinions. So.
You mentioned Georgia preparing you for the NFL. I guess a narrative about Georgia's defensive linemen don't necessarily put up a ton of stats necessarily. So if you were telling a high school recruit why they should come to Georgia as a defensive lineman, what would you tell them?
When you leave there, you got to be pro ready. You're going to understand how to play with other greats. Yeah, you might not have the huge stat seasons, but you're going to be ready for it, to walk into any NFL building and give them your all. A lot of people always ask, "Oh, why did he come out? You should have had these numbers. You should have that number." It's not about the numbers for me. It's about, can I take up tooth so my guys can play freely and have great stats as well. Because I kind of took this from JD. I'm not the guy that's going to have 16 TFLs, 8 sacks. I'm just not that player. I wish I could. Don't get me wrong, but in our defense, I wasn't asked to do that.
Did you drop weight for the combine? I mean, how did you change your body up for this?
I kind of stayed around the same. I'm actually a little heavy right now. I don't know.
Were you 320, 320?
316. So I'm trying to drop a little bit before tomorrow so I can run a little faster, you know. But I've held the same weight the whole time I was at Georgia a little bit. So.
Zion, what are you going to miss most about attending and playing football at UGA?
The locker room, man. Just being around our brothers, being around the Bones, being with Miss Collier, enjoying the time, enjoying the laughs. I know when I go back before my pro day, I'm gonna just sit around and just have a laugh with them before it's all over. But just walking in and just being with my guys for real.
You're pretty well spoken. I know you do a podcast, or you used to do a podcast with a couple of UGA football players. Kind of talk about that experience a little bit.
Man, I appreciate that podcast so much. I appreciate Riley and Goody for starting it, for having a vision, and man, Bobby and Tate welcoming me in and just letting me be myself and just letting me talk about. Honestly, Tate talked more than I did, but just being on there and just being able to voice my opinion, because sports broadcasting is something that I definitely want to do one day. So getting in front of the camera and getting comfortable and just being able to talk football like I wanted to, it was fun.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.